dogs. Dogs are traditionally known as man's best friend. For law enforcement, they're more than that. They're partners. Partners that help solve crimes and apprehend suspects. These are members of various K-9 units. K-9 units have contributed to the arrest of over 1 million suspects, improving our community. I know we're all part of different communities, so we all want to live in safer neighborhoods. Majoring in criminal justice, I have been educated and done my research on various topics of law enforcement, including K-9s. K-9 units have proven to be an essential tool to the success of law enforcement. First, I'll go over the background of K-9 units. Second, I'll walk you through a process of K-9 training. And third, I'll talk about their role in crimes. Right, so before we begin, let's talk about the background of K-9 units and who actually qualifies for a K-9 unit. Well, a K-9 unit is consisting of a police trained dog, which is partnered with a human handler, which refers to an officer, and both the dog and the officer will work together as a team to solve crimes. Dogs were first used to assist armed individuals back in France in the 1300s, but it's focused on the U.S. The first ever law enforcement K-9 unit was established in 1907 back in New York City Police Department. Ever since, they have been fast-growing tools to help officers assist with crime. Unfortunately, not every type of breed could be a K-9, or else we'll be seeing Chihuahuas running around. So let's get to the most common types. The most common type of breeds used by police officers are German Shepherds, Dutch Shepherds, Belgian Malinois, and Dobermans. As you can see, all these dogs look strong, healthy, quick, and healthy. And that's because they all have one thing in common. Most of these dogs, they come from Europe. According to Karen Strainrock, a pet colorist for the patron use in the article K-9 units play vulnerable roles in the community, she states that the cost for each dog can range from $7,000 to $20,000 depending on the dogs that we're training. So as you can see, they're not cheap. So that explains why not every agency in the United States have K-9s. And to be in fact, there are around 18,000 different local agencies in the United States working at the federal, the state, the city, and local. Now to have a quick background of K-9 units, let's get to the process of training. So training for K-9s is a total amount of 10 weeks, and they begin around the ages of 6 to 12 months, and they train for about 1 to 2 hours. And the three main types of training are obedience, protecting, which refers to attacking, and searching and tracking. So this is the first. So obedience. The dogs are trained to a high level of obedience. They are taught to follow both verbal and hand commands by the handlers. And what pushes the dogs to do this is they know after every successful command, they'll get a treat. So they already know in their mindset, if I do this, I'll get a treat, so who wouldn't do it, right? The second is attacking. This is very important because you never know when an officer may be involved in a fight. So the dog will help them from any situations. So as you can see here, most of the trainers will put on a full-on gear so we protected because they're not going to be getting bitten by a dog. It'll be painful. So the officer will give the dog commands, and this guy is a trainer. He'll act as a suspect. So the trainer gives the dog commands, and the dog will rush and bite him. And most of the times, the trainers will carry an object and actually rush the dog to test his courage to see whether he hesitates or not. And if a suspect is in a vehicle, the dog's also trained to run and apprehend the suspect. You know, they say a dog's best part of the body is the nose. It's about 100 to 10,000 more sensitive than humans, so that's very important. It's what officers take advantage of. According to to Barry Cooper, a top-ranked narcotics agent and police dog trainer, in the August 22, 2008 Marijuana magazine, dogs can sense odors at concentration nearly 100 million times lower than humans. So that just means, like, if any of you guys could hide anywhere in the building, the dog will find you. So it's really on point. How they train the dogs is they'll get the dogs familiar with the scents, with either drugs, firearms, or explosives. And when I say they get them familiar, I don't mean like they put like some cocaine, they let the dog sniff it. He'll overdose. They have packages and they'll get the dog familiar with the scent. So when they're in any type of situation, the dog will already automatically knows what he's looking for. So he will either scratch at the location he thinks it's at, or sit down to let his officer know where it's at. So this is very important to find any narcotics, firearms, or explosives at airports and all of that. And then the final is the role. Now that we talked about the process of training, we will now talk about the actual role in crimes. So we all seen vehicle chases, right? We don't know why they run. They think they get away. But that's when most, as you can see, most vehicle chases turn to foot pursuit. So that's when the dog comes in. His agility and quickness to apprehend the suspect is very important for law enforcement. And then most of the times, the suspects that manage to get away, officers use the dog's nose to go to the last known location of the suspect to get his order. Because when every person has an order, so when these criminals run, they start to sweat. So their sweat is an order that is easy to catch by the dog's nose. So the dog will usually run, lead the officer straight to where the suspect is. You can see this guy ran, and it turned out good. And then felony T-stops. Felony T-stops are the most dangerous situation for police officers because you don't know who's going to be in the vehicle. It could be a wanted felon or anything. So they'll use the dog to apprehend the suspect if he doesn't respond to the commands of the officers. So now that we concluded, we have a better understanding. Let's wrap this thing up. K-9 units have proven to be an essential tool for law enforcement. First, I went over the quick background of K-9s. Then I went over the training process, and finally I ended with the role in society. So just remember that men and women aren't the only people in law enforcement that put their life on the danger every day. Thank you.